Indeed.
Let me say something quickly, Thomas. Sorry, let me just do this quick follow-up. You are saying that it's good for it to be sold. But now the question on social media, and our viewer, one of our very good viewers just sent me this question, is who do they then sell it to? Is it Nigerians or foreigners?
Nigerians. We must be proudly Nigerians. I keep telling every individual, the only thing we lack as far as this country is concerned is to have a system that actually put everybody in check. And that we see a lot. If there is no control mechanism in this organization, I'm sure you want to do whatever you like. Yeah. But because you know there are consequences if you go against certain things, it puts you on check. So as far as I'm concerned, when you get some of these assets into the hands of the people, and there are drawn, guidelines of what is expected of you, you have an expectation sitting on the seat. Yeah. We did not just employ you because we want to see your face. Yeah. There are expectations of you, and when you don't meet up, people, there are post-production meetings you have. You flaw here, you have to improve here. You can do the same in business. We are not saying that government you buy into the stake of some of these things, but let it be proudly Nigerian. You can borrow the idea of foreigners and say, okay, you have the technical expertise. Bring it on board, and my people are on ground, because it is still the citizen that we are out to serve it. And I think that on its own will give more confidence on the part of the citizen to say that the government is actually, very conscious of the people that they are actually leading.
The funny thing about the whole of this saga for me is that it will promote the private sector getting into these businesses. That's if those assets are sold. And as you have recommended, they should be sold to Nigerians. Let it be a proudly Nigerian sector. All right? The members of NUPENG are in the private sector. They also know this business. So what is it about the sale of these assets that NUPENG is so against?
I was listening at the first production when you were actually saying you started your career in the private, public sector.
Yeah.
Now you're in the private sector, and I'm sure you can balance it out.
Yes, yes.
The truth remains, I've asked myself that NLC, TUC, NUPENG, and all this union, they might think to be singing their way out of relevance with some of the things they're doing if they are if they are allowing themselves to be used by some of these so-called politicians for selfish interest. I will come out to say, if you're thinking that it is those that have actually taken our money that will buy it off, is it not better off to buy it off, get you engaged, and let more people get employment? You can imagine the wastages we are experiencing on some of the government agencies in meeting up with some of the things they are supposed to deliver as against the private sector. Have you seen an instances where you do PPP with an agency and the civil servant come to tell you, for Christ's sake, we don't understand. The private sector will not allow you to come to work by 9 o'clock. You and I understand that. They will not allow you to take excuses for days of not coming, hiding on as a matter of fact, when you skip the work for a particular day, a lot of people will say it's slavery, but is it not delivering? You can imagine if there are no control mechanism in this organization, you can choose to come to work, maybe 3 times in a week and give excuses, possibly doing certain things that has to do with yourself. And I've asked myself, the NUPENG, the TUs, they are in the private sector. They can see the value. What we are talking about here is value.
Value, exactly.
So the people.
Exactly.
I can imagine if in the last 5 years, all our 4 refineries, quite disheartening that people like us were seen as being pessimistic and not, patriotic. When years back, during the last regime, they were telling us that the Port Harcourt refinery will come upstream, this and that. It did for 1 or 2 months.
Yes.
And as we speak, who is asking question? Nobody is asking question. So much money has actually dumped into that particular thing. But will you try that with the private sector? A man, take for example, I will always refer to Dangote. Is gone to borrow funds to execute the project.
Yes.
But on the part of the government, don't forget, we are using taxpayers' money. As far as I'm concerned, it's a free fund.
It's free funds.
Cost of capital is zero. But you're talking of a man that has actually been approached by a financial institution who has cost implication in the funds he has borrowed. I'm sure you want to take, you know, chances in wasting those funds. And that's why I'm of the opinion. Not because we feel that it's being capitalist in nature, but let's see how we can continually put some of these assets to use. Not only even refineries, a lot of other things in other sectors that we can bring in. There is a way this private sector have the drive. And I can tell you most of the time when those in private sector get into the public sector, you understand that.